poor girl gets splashed with mud by a car, not knowing driver is a billionaire who fell in love with her. Esteemed viewers, welcome to Luxurious True Life Stories. Please like and subscribe for more captivating luxury true stories. Let's get into the story. Jennifer Thompson was 10 when the fire swallowed everything she had ever known. One moment, the apartment was filled with the warm scent of her mother's cinnamon tea and the low hum of her father fixing a broken lamp. The next, smoke crawled across the ceiling like a living thing. Neighbors screamed. Sirens tore through the night. Strong arms carried Jennifer outside while flames devoured the only home she remembered. By morning, silence replaced chaos, the kind of silence that meant her parents were never coming back. With no close relatives willing to step forward, Jennifer was sent to live with her mother's older sister, Cassandra Frank. Cassandra's house was large but strangely cold, decorated more for appearance than comfort. She believed emotions were weaknesses and often reminded Jennifer that survival required usefulness. From the very first day, Jennifer sensed she was not arriving as a daughter, but as a responsibility reluctantly accepted. Jennifer adapted quickly. She spoke less, observed more, and learned how to stay out of the way. Books became her safest companions, and she developed a quiet resilience that made teachers admire her gentleness. While other children laughed loudly and demanded attention, Jennifer discovered strength in endurance. Deep inside, without fully understanding why, she promised herself that no matter how harsh life became, she would grow into someone kind, not someone hardened by pain. Life under Cassandra's roof followed strict, unspoken rules. Jennifer woke before sunrise to sweep floors, prepare simple meals, and keep the house spotless. Mistakes were never tolerated. Praise was non-existent. Cassandra valued presentation above all else and often hosted wealthy friends, transforming into a charming, elegant woman the moment guests arrived. Jennifer learned early how easily people could wear masks. As Jennifer grew older, her natural beauty became impossible to ignore. Strangers often complimented her bright eyes and calm presence, but Cassandra viewed those traits differently, as opportunities waiting to be exploited. She began introducing Jennifer to influential visitors with careful calculation, studying their reactions with unsettling interest. Jennifer did not fully grasp her aunt's intentions, yet the weight of those watchful looks made her uneasy. Still, hardship did not erase Jennifer's softness. At school she shared lunches, helped struggling classmates, and stayed late to tutor others despite returning home exhausted. Hope lived quietly inside her, fed by the belief that life could someday feel lighter. She dreamed of earning an honest living, owning a small peaceful space, and building the kind of warmth she had lost. What Jennifer did not yet realize was that her courage would soon be tested, and the life she knew was approaching its breaking point. Jennifer grew into a young woman who carried herself with quiet dignity. While other teenagers chased trends and attention, she focused on finishing school with excellent grades. The public library became her refuge. She loved business books, biographies, and stories about people who rose from nothing. Those pages convinced her that beginnings did not determine endings. Cassandra, however, grew increasingly impatient. Feeding and housing Jennifer no longer felt like charity to her, it felt like a delayed investment. She frequently reminded Jennifer that beauty was a currency and that smart girls learned how to use what they had. Jennifer never argued, but each comment planted discomfort deep in her chest. At night, Jennifer would sit by the small window in her room, staring at the distant city lights. She imagined working in one of those tall buildings someday, earning her independence. More than anything, she longed for a life where kindness was normal, not rare. She didn't know it yet, but the path toward that life was already forming beneath her feet. Shortly after Jennifer turned 19, Cassandra's patience vanished completely. One evening, She invited a richly dressed middle-aged man to dinner and insisted Jennifer sit with them. His gaze lingered too long, his smile too knowing. Cassandra spoke sweetly about opportunities and mutual benefit, her words carefully polished but impossible to misunderstand. When the guest finally left, Cassandra dropped the performance. She explained bluntly that powerful men rewarded loyalty and companionship, and Jennifer could secure a comfortable future if she cooperated. The suggestion hit Jennifer like ice water. Every value her parents had taught her rose fiercely within her. With surprising firmness, Jennifer refused. She said she would rather struggle honestly than live comfortably without self-respect. Cassandra's face hardened instantly. Admiration was not an emotion she possessed. In that moment, something fragile between them snapped beyond repair. The argument escalated quickly. Cassandra accused Jennifer of ingratitude, listing every dollar she had supposedly spent raising her. Before dawn the next morning, a single suitcase was placed by the door. Jennifer was told to leave and never return unless she was ready to be practical. The world outside felt enormous and indifferent. After hours of searching, Jennifer found the cheapest room she could afford, a narrow space with peeling paint, a creaking bed, and a tiny window facing a brick wall. Yet when she locked the door that night, she felt something unexpected: freedom. Reality soon followed. Savings disappeared into rent and basic meals. She learned how hunger sharpened the senses and how loneliness echoed louder after sunset. Still, she refused to regret her decision. Hardship was heavy, but it was cleaner than surrender. Each morning, Jennifer set out with neatly arranged documents, visiting offices, cafes, and shops. Managers often dismissed her politely. Others barely looked at her worn shoes before saying the position was filled. Rejection became a routine she endured with quiet grace. To stretch her remaining money, she walked everywhere, memorizing shortcuts and timing traffic lights like small victories. Some evenings she returned so tired she fell asleep without dinner. Yet she kept her appearance tidy, believing that discipline was a form of hope. One afternoon, while scanning a crowded bulletin board, a simple posting caught her attention: administrative assistant needed, Raymond Enterprises. The company was known for excellence, though she knew nothing about its leader. Something about the clean, professional wording stirred determination inside her. She applied immediately, whispering a small prayer as she pressed send on her tiny phone. Days stretched into weeks with no response, and Jennifer fought the quiet fear that Raymond Enterprises had forgotten her application entirely. To survive, she rationed everything: bread, electricity, even the minutes on her phone. Yet each morning she straightened her shoulders and reminded herself that persistence often separated those who succeeded from those who faded away. One grey afternoon, her phone vibrated unexpectedly. The message was brief: "You are invited for an interview next Monday at 9 a.m. Jennifer reread it repeatedly, hardly trusting her eyes. Excitement fluttered through her chest, quickly followed by nerves. This felt larger than a job. It felt like a doorway. She immediately prepared. Her only corporate outfit was old but carefully preserved. That night she washed and pressed it as best as she could, laying it neatly beside her bed. Sleep came slowly, not from worry, but from the fragile thrill that perhaps, at last, life was turning toward her. Across the city lived Daniel Raymond, the disciplined force behind Raymond Enterprises. Known for precision and fairness, he had built his company into a powerhouse through relentless work rather than inherited privilege. Employees respected him, competitors studied him, yet very few understood the man beneath the reputation. Daniel valued time above all else. His mornings began before sunrise with structured routines that left no room for chaos. Still, success had carved a quiet loneliness into his life. Wealth attracted many, but sincerity remained rare, and he had grown skilled at recognizing the difference. On the Friday before the interviews, Daniel made an unusual decision. He would personally oversee the hiring process for the administrative role. Something in him wanted someone genuine, someone grounded. He did not realize that choice was about to alter the course of his life. Monday arrived wrapped in low clouds. Jennifer woke early, dressed carefully, and studied her reflection. The outfit showed its age, but her composure added a quiet elegance no fabric could provide. With transport far beyond her budget, she began the long walk toward the towering business district. Meanwhile, Daniel's morning unraveled. An urgent call delayed him, traffic thickened unexpectedly, and the clock seemed determined to outrun him. Irritation was unfamiliar territory for a man so organized, yet he found himself gripping the steering wheel tighter than usual. As Jennifer approached a less developed stretch of road, recent rain had turned the path muddy. She stepped cautiously, protecting her clothes as best she could. At that exact moment, fate aligned two separate journeys onto the same narrow road, one driven by ambition, the other by hope. Jennifer moved carefully along the muddy roadside, lifting her shoes slightly with each step to avoid deeper puddles. The air smelled of wet earth, and passing vehicles sprayed thin arcs of water that made her heart jump every time. She checked the time repeatedly, calculating whether she would still arrive early enough to appear professional. Behind the wheel of a sleek dark car, Daniel exhaled sharply as he glanced at his dashboard clock. Being late was unacceptable to him, yet the morning seemed determined to test his patience. When the road narrowed, he accelerated slightly, hoping to make up lost minutes before reaching the main highway. Then it happened in a split second. The tires sliced through a wide pool of muddy water, sending a heavy splash outward. Jennifer froze as cold mud drenched her outfit from shoulder to hem. For a brief moment, the world felt still, shock replacing motion. Daniel saw it instantly in his rearview mirror. Regret struck before thought could catch up. He braked hard, reversed, and stepped out without caring about the mud beneath his polished shoes. Up close, he noticed her trembling hands and the effort she made to remain composed. "I am deeply sorry," he said with genuine urgency. He explained he was late for an important meeting, his voice carrying a sincerity few executives ever needed to display. Jennifer blinked away embarrassment and simply nodded, insisting it was an accident. He offered her a ride. She declined gently. He offered money for cleaning. She refused again, thanking him but wishing him luck on his meeting instead. Her calm surprised him. Most people would have reacted with anger. As he drove away, her image lingered unexpectedly in his thoughts. Jennifer considered turning back, but determination outweighed humiliation. She wiped what she could and continued walking until the glass tower of Raymond Enterprises rose before her like a symbol of everything she hoped to reach. Inside, conversations softened as people noticed her stained clothing. Ignoring the attention, she approached the reception desk where Elena, sharp-eyed and impeccably dressed, looked her over with concern that quickly shifted into refusal. Elena insisted Jennifer could not attend an interview in such condition. Jennifer pleaded quietly, explaining what had happened on the road. The exchange drew glances, whispers forming like ripples. Just as tension began to rise, a familiar voice entered the lobby, calm, authoritative, unmistakable. Daniel stepped forward, recognition flashing across his face. Surprise crossed Jennifer's expression as realization dawned. The man from the muddy road was not just a passerby. He was the CEO. For a moment, neither spoke. Daniel recovered first, instructing Elena to grant Jennifer immediate access. The lobby fell silent. Such direct intervention from the CEO was rare. Jennifer followed him upstairs, still trying to process how the apologetic driver had suddenly become the most powerful man in the building. Inside his office, Daniel studied her not with judgment but with curiosity. Instead of focusing on her stained outfit, he spoke about her composure, how grace under inconvenience revealed more than a flawless appearance ever could. Jennifer answered his few questions honestly, her voice steady despite the whirlwind morning. The decision came quickly. Daniel offered her the position without a formal interview, explaining that character was a qualification no resume could fully capture. Shock softened into gratitude as Jennifer accepted. As she left the office, Daniel realized his day no longer felt disrupted. Strangely, it felt aligned. Jennifer's first weeks unfolded like stepping into another universe. The office moved with precision, ringing phones, quiet keyboards, purposeful footsteps. Determined not to disappoint, she arrived early, took careful notes, and learned faster than anyone expected. Some colleagues admired her dedication, while others questioned how someone hired so suddenly could belong there. Jennifer ignored the whispers, choosing consistency over defense. Each completed task strengthened her confidence. Daniel observed her progress from a respectful distance. What impressed him most was not perfection but effort. She treated everyone, from senior managers to janitorial staff, with the same warmth. In a place driven by hierarchy, her humility felt refreshing. Success rarely goes unnoticed, and neither does favor. Victor Hale, a senior executive known for ambition sharper than his smile, began watching Jennifer closely. To him, unexplained hiring suggested hidden advantage, and hidden advantage threatened order. Small obstacles appeared. Files went missing, instructions arrived incomplete, meetings were forgotten. Jennifer responded not with complaint but with patience, quietly correcting problems as they arose. Her resilience frustrated those hoping she would falter. Daniel sensed the tension, but chose observation over immediate action. Leadership, he believed, required understanding currents beneath the surface. Meanwhile, Jennifer remained focused on growth, unaware that her quiet strength was steadily reshaping how others perceived her. As weeks passed, Daniel found himself anticipating Jennifer's presence in meetings. She listened more than she spoke, but when she offered suggestions, they were thoughtful and grounded in logic. Her ideas were practical, never flashy, and often saved time or reduced unnecessary expense. One evening, after most employees had left, a sudden system error threatened to delay a major client proposal. Instead of panicking, Jennifer stayed late, organizing documents manually and coordinating calmly with the IT team. Her steady approach prevented embarrassment for the company. Watching her through the glass walls of his office, Daniel realized something had shifted. His respect was no longer purely professional. It was deeper, rooted in admiration for her integrity. For the first time in years, his carefully structured life felt unexpectedly stirred. Just as stability began settling around Jennifer, Cassandra reappeared. She arrived unannounced outside the company building, dressed elegantly but carrying the same calculating expression. Word of Jennifer's employment had reached her through distant acquaintances. Cassandra demanded financial repayment for years of sacrifice, hinting that she could create rumors harmful to Jennifer's new reputation. The confrontation shook Jennifer, but she refused to be intimidated. She calmly stated she owed nothing for choosing dignity. Unbeknownst to them, Daniel witnessed part of the exchange from a distance. He did not intervene immediately, but the protective instinct rising within him surprised even himself. He realized Jennifer's battles had not ended when she left that house, they had simply changed form. At Raymond Enterprises, tension escalated when confidential financial data was leaked to a competitor. Suspicion quietly circled the executive floor. Victor subtly implied that Jennifer's sudden hiring aligned suspiciously with the timing of the breach. Rather than crumble under scrutiny, Jennifer requested permission to review administrative logs. Her meticulous nature uncovered inconsistencies pointing toward internal manipulation rather than external intrusion. The evidence traced back toward Victor's department. Daniel confronted the situation decisively. Victor's scheme, designed to destabilize leadership and elevate himself, unraveled under investigation. Jennifer's clarity not only protected the company but restored trust. For Daniel, admiration transformed fully into certainty. Her presence in his life was no accident. After the crisis settled, Daniel invited Jennifer to a quiet dinner, not as CEO and assistant, but as two individuals. The conversation flowed naturally, touching on dreams, values, and the meaning of resilience. Jennifer spoke about building safe spaces for vulnerable young women someday. Daniel confessed his growing feelings carefully, fearing she might believe gratitude influenced her emotions. Jennifer surprised him by admitting she had admired his humility long before learning of his wealth. What touched her was not his success, but his character. Their relationship unfolded slowly and respectfully, free from spectacle. In choosing each other, they proved love was not born from status but from understanding. The mud-stained morning had quietly evolved into something neither could have planned. Months later, in a private ceremony attended by close friends and loyal employees, Jennifer and Daniel married. The event was elegant yet intimate, reflecting their shared preference for sincerity over display. True to her dream, Jennifer established her foundation supporting young women seeking independence through education and honest work. She ensured no one would face the choices once forced upon her. Daniel supported her vision fully, proud not just of his wife, but of the woman she had always been. The road that once covered her in mud became a symbol of transformation. What felt like humiliation had been alignment. From loss to resilience, from struggle to partnership, Jennifer's journey proved that dignity endures, and sometimes, destiny arrives disguised as an accident. As this story comes to an end, remember that behind every luxury lies a truth few ever see. If this story moved you, support the channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Until the next unforgettable true story, stay inspired and stay curious.